Handlers are clear. They're off. They race away with Got to Love a Grey fast, Bunchen very slow to go. And also Graceful Thunder is one of the first to show Betty's Bay, and also Princess Chijara on the far side, Onigiri and Hot Front and Flora of Bermuda with those. And they are then followed through by Out of the Stars towards the right. Crimson Advocate in the red leading to Kotai Vision. Up there with these as well, Thanks But No Thanks and Launch and Got to Love a Grey. The Yellow Jacket then of Beautiful Diamond is not far behind. Kinana is right on the heels of these two. Rebel Rally and the green colours as already they approach the final 2 furlongs, and Crimson Advocate in the red, white and blue, the near side. A Beautiful Diamond moves through into second position. Behind this Rebel Rally, Got to Love a Grey and Juniper Berries. Over on the far side, the dark blue of Flora of Bermuda's up there, but near side it continues to be Crimson Advocate with a clear advantage, but here is Relief Rally and Tom Marquand coming towards the line. Is very tight. Crimson Advocate and Relief Rally. Behind those a few lengths away to Beautiful Diamond and Juniper Berries and Flora of Bermuda. They're off. A race with a round mile in front of them here, and Roman Mist is very much the fastest of them away. Zenga is up there as well, and also Tarab in the yellow jacket. Tamarama towards the outside of runners. Crystal Caprice and Indian Wish a little wide. Don't Tell Claire is in a prominent position, and Discretion just in behind these from Golden Spice, who races towards the running rail. Divine Light in the purple and white colours coming through into a prominent position as well, and Divine Light is going to go through after a couple of furlongs to lead. To Tamarama, a pink cap in second. Roman Mist and Crystal Caprice and Indian Wish are out wide to Zenga and Love Interest and Tarab, who's behind these. You want there'll be about halfway down them at the moment towards the outside of the field in company with Adelaide's and Far Too Shy. Discretion's behind these. Lady Eros is the green jacket. 3 from the back with Mukadama, Sly Madam, and also Villanova Queen, who are at the back of the field. But Divine Light and Danny Muscat are past the halfway stage. In fact, they're at the 3 furlong pole showing in front here. Move into the straight with the lead to Tamarama in second position. Then Roman Mist and Crystal Caprice and Indian Wish. Then in behind those is Zenga looking for a way through. Belhaven towards the outside of the field is trying to get into contention as they head down now towards the final furlong. And as they do so, it's Tamarama, but here's Don't Tell Claire with the dark blue. And then Far Too Shy up on the outside coming with a challenge as well. Villanova Queen with the red cap is also coming right up on the outside. Villanova Queen and Colin Keane have got to the lead. They race towards the line. Villanova Queen to Don't Tell Claire. Tarab behind those. In fourth position was Adelaide's, and Far Too Shy was behind her. They're off. Race with a mile here for this Duke of Cambridge Stakes as they get away. Prosperous Voyage and Random Harvest are both well into their strides. Grand Dame is between them. Honey Girl in a prominent position as well. Jumbly behind these two. Rogue Millennium. Then the best turned out winner, Queen Aminatu. Black and white jacket, a red cap is with Potapova, International Angel, and Lightship is fractionally the back marker. As Random Harvest and Safi Osborne settle down to have the advantage here, leading by over a length to Prosperous Voyage and Frankie Dettori in second. Honey Girl, Dylan McGonigal, red sleeves, a white cap is a neck behind in third. 2 lengths behind those to the Doreen Tabor own pair. Grand Dame with a red cap, a black and white cap for Jumbly. Jamie Spencer and Ryan Moore are together. International Angel and Holly Dawn, extreme left behind these. The red and white is Danny Tudhope on Rogue Millennium. Then Potapova, a blue cap for Richard Kingscote, and they're followed by Queen Animatu, Tom Marquand in company with Danny Muscat is in a check jacket on Lightship at the rear of the field as they head then now inside the final 3 furlongs. It's still Random Harvest, but nearest to us is Prosperous Boys to deliver a challenge. Jumbly is 1 from the left, trying to begin her run towards the leaders as well. Rogue Millennium behind these. These are then followed by Potapova beginning to stay on. Heading towards the final furlong now. Random Harvest, Prosperous Voyage with those as well. On the far side is Jumbly, and still there is Rogue Millennium. Any one of this quartet could win. They race towards the line. Rogue Millennium nearest to us. The maroon jacket of Random Harvest. It is Rogue Millennium who wins to Random Harvest, Prosperous Voyage. Behind those, Jumbly is probably just 4th over Potapova.
Lined up. They're off for a race in a million. The Group 1 Prince of Wales' Stakes, a mile and a quarter ahead of them. Baybridge just perhaps a little squeezed out. Drops in at the rear of the field in the cherry jacket as Luxembourg from stall 1 races handily and very briefly races a little off the inside running rail. He's accompanied through the first quarter mile by Classic Causeway, with a Dayar in the royal blue dropping in on the inner of My Prospero, the yellow silks, and MOSTAHDAF, the striped cap, racing alongside Baybridge, and they're hunting in pairs as they race out of Swindley Bottom and complete the first 3 furlongs. And it's Luxembourg and Ryan Moore leading up by a half length to Classic Causeway in the hands of Julian Leparoux. Just over a length away then to a Dayar, Will Buick in the royal blue sitting on the tails of the leading pair. My Prospero, Tom Marquand just 4th. Baybridge against the running rail in the hands of Richard Kingscote, and a half length further back to MOSTAHDAF and Jim Crowley. Heading towards halfway then in the Prince of Wales' Stakes, and Luxembourg continues to dictate. He's got the field well stacked up. Classic Causeway remains a very close second, being followed through by My Prospero. Dayar covered up against the running rail, and then Baybridge in a cherry jacket, and MOSTAHDAF is just last, and they leave the half mile behind them and now begin the swing back towards home in this Group 1 feature. Luxembourg and Ryan Moore still in front, still have the attentions of Classic Causeway. Dayar poised in behind, needs a bit of daylight, being kept in by My Prospero. MOSTAHDAF out on the right, beginning to make headway. Baybridge trying to thread his way through from the rear. On down the straight towards the final quarter of a mile. Luxembourg up against the running rail, trying to fend the ball off. Here's MOSTAHDAF moving through to challenge. Dayar is back in third, and MOSTAHDAF has come sweeping through to take over and begins to power clear. MOSTAHDAF inside the furlong opens up by 3-4 lengths to Luxembourg and Dayar. They've got 100 yards to cover, and it's MOSTAHDAF and Jim Crowley in front and running on strongly. MOSTAHDAF wins the Prince of Wales' Stakes. Luxembourg second, Dayar third, and My Prospero back in fourth ahead of Baybridge.
They're off. They race then the Royal Hunt Cup over the straight mile here as they get away and begin to split in towards 2 groups. Garley and Dunham and Outbreak are fast away with Wannies over the far side with Isla Kai. Koi Koi is also up there with those, and then comes Ashto King. Great Guardian is on that far side group of runners as well, and also Jimi Hendrix. Koi Koi down the centre in the yellow Imperial Fighter follows him as Reach for the Moon is the leader on the extreme right with the scarlet sleeve jacket, and Frankie Dettori. Point Linus is in company with him, and these are then followed by Bear Force 1, Atrium further back to Tempest, and then comes Uzo. These are then being followed through by Intelligent as they head down now towards the halfway stage. Perotto is not far behind the leaders either towards the right-hand side. As they now head past halfway, Wannies just about has the advantage here. To in second position, Isla Kai. Outbreak is with those. The group on the left are the ones leading at the moment. Great Guardian is right in behind these, making progress towards the leaders. Garley is still there as well. Dual Identity with a chance also as they head now past the 2 furlong pole. The stand side group have joined them over the far side, and Awal in the black and orange near side with over the far side Jimi Hendrix going into a clear advantage on that far side. Awal is there with the near side to Uzo. Tempest is there as well. Perotto behind those, but over the far side and near side Sonny Liston. It's Chelsea Thoroughbreds. They've got the Royal Hunt Cup. Which one will win? Jimi Hendrix the far side. Sonny Liston, the red cap, is in second position. Behind those are Wild and Arian, Power and Blessing, Manuzo and Tempest, and then came Positive.
They're off for the Queen's Vase with a mile and 3/4 ahead of them. Chess Piece in the royal blue ridden forward with a short run into the first turn, and Frankie goes handy aboard Gregory. The red cap applies a bit of pressure for the early lead with the Grey St George on the inner and Etna Rosso in the blue and white rounding out the leading quartet as they swing right-handed. Circular Fire with the scarlet sleeves just sits a couple of lengths off the pace, in turn followed out wide by Hadrianus as they begin the steady downhill run towards Swindley Bottom. Think First in an orange jacket settles towards midfield, had to be briefly checked back off heels, and then Peking Opera, Ryan Moore in the dark blue racing ahead of Sumo Sam in the yellow and blue. A further length and a half to Stephen Siegel in a white jacket, a similar margin away to St Vincent's Garden in the dark blue and white, who races on the inner of Bateman's Bay. Nürburgring in the dark green and white meanwhile disputes last place with Undawi. Might just spot the orange star on the cap for David Probert. They've completed half a mile in the Queen's Vase, and Frankie's got to the rail and got to the front aboard Gregory, but he's closely accompanied by Andrea Azzani aboard Hadrianus. They race now 2 lengths clear to Etna Rosso, the white cap, disputing third place with Chess Piece, who in turn is slipstreamed by the grey St George, and alongside he's Circle of Fire. And then Think First in orange jacket upsides Peking Opera as they approach halfway. Stephen Siegel in the white races on the outer of Sumo Sam. St Vincent's Garden is further back in the field with Bateman's Bay as they now begin the steady ascent towards the final 3/4 of a mile, and Darby and Nürburgring continue towards the rear end of the field. So Frankie controlling the fractions here as they head towards the 6 marker. Still Hadrianus in the black and white is a close second. Chess Piece under James Doyle in the royal blue against the running rail, tracking the leading pair. Then Etna Rosso to the grey St George. Peking Opera, no move yet. Dark blue jacket for Ryan Moore, about 4, maybe 5 lengths off the lead as they head towards the last 4.5 furlongs on the home turn in the Queen's Vase. Gregory Hadrianus still the leading duo to Chess Piece, Etna Rosso, then St George, Circle of Fire, followed through by Think First, Peking Opera. Stephen Siegel is next. Bateman's Bay in a light blue jacket out wide to Sumo Sam, then Undarby, St Vincent's Garden, and Nürburgring with the last one into the straight as they pass the 3 on the crown of the bend, and it's Gregory in front. Frankie now just beginning to nudge away. Hadrianus turned on in second. Chess Piece in the royal blue looking for a way through. Away to the right, Circle of Fire with the scarlet sleeves asked for his effort. Then Etna Rosso, the grey St George up the inner. They've got a furlong and a half to go, and it's still Frankie in front on Gregory. St George the grey though is coming out after him. Back in third, Chess Piece, and then Circle of Fire. 150 yards to go. Frankie driving away on Gregory, still pestering St George. Gregory finding plenty under the Dettori drive. Frankie's farewell at Royal Ascot, and it's winner number 78 at the Royal Meeting for the Italian. Gregory beats St George, close for third between Chess Piece, Circle of Fire. Ready? They're off for the Windsor Castle Stakes. 23 of them break from the stalls. Away to the left, Scoops Ahoy, the white sleeves, is up with the early pace. So too Lieutenant Rusk in a yellow jacket and mayonnaise. Barnwell Boy in the white and dark blue, and Alabama is over in that left-hand group with Action Point, the brown cap. Towards the centre in the sheepskin noseband, Sergeant Wilco up with the leaders with Sir Bolton in the red cap. Also there, Bombay Bazaar in the grey, Maximum Impact with Inquisitively and Hackman, and Johannes Brahms in the blue and orange just behind him with Ganesha and Supersonic Man, and they're already moving down towards the last couple of furlongs. Spread right across the course here towards the right of the group. Big Evs is running a big race in the noseband from World of Darcy. Hala Emirati trying to get on terms. Over on the far side, Alabama, but it's Big Evs in the noseband in front as they come inside the furlong. Alabama is over on the far side, then Barnwell Boy. Johannes Brahms is keeping on stoutly with Inquisitively, but it's Big Evs for a big shock in the Windsor Castle. Johannes Brahms up for second, tight third Inquisitively and Alabama, and they were followed home by Up the Manor.